Hi there, this is John Frenay, and welcome to an Encore presentation of our Legacy Business Spotlight. These are best done in person, and with the current state of emergency restrictions, that's just not possible. So we will be re-releasing our past episodes every Saturday at noon until this pandemic is in our collective rearview mirror. Until then, enjoy this Encore presentation of our Legacy Business Spotlight.
Some businesses succeed. Some don't. Then there are those that seem to have been around forever. The true entrepreneurial success story. How did they do it? What was their vision? What makes a success? In this special episode for Eye on Annapolis, we speak with the true success stories. Those business owners that have been around for decades. Learn from their successes and failures. Now, here's host John Frenay.
We're sitting in a darkened store, and we didn't break in this time, but we're with Jennifer Donohue, who is one of the owners of Mills Wine and Spirits. Did I get the name right? Mills Fine Wine and Spirits.
Yes.
Which has been a staple on the bottom of Main Street in Annapolis forever. Longer than you and longer than me and probably longer than you and me and a couple other people put together. Before we started recording, I was telling you, before I moved down here in 1996, there was a friend of mine up in Paoli, Pennsylvania. He said, "Oh my God, when you get down there, you need to go to Mills." And it's the place to go for fine wine and spirits here in Annapolis. And how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Good. Well, tell me a little bit about the history of Mills. How did it start? Way back when? I know that you're a somewhat recent owner. You've been the owner for almost a decade now. But do you have the whole history?
I know quite a bit about the history, but some of the older details are still a little fuzzy. I know Billy Mills started the store, we think sometime in the 1930s. It was originally called Mills Cut Rate Liquors. And
how times have changed.
He actually didn't, it was more of a general store plus some liquor items. So eggs, chickens, everything. And liquor. The magic combination.
No. What else do you need?
And then in the 1940s, Mr. Donner, our predecessor, and his father approached Mr. Mills, and they, on a handshake, agreed to purchase the store from Mr. Mills. Okay. So, and then Mr. Donner operated the store for 66 years, from 1946 until we purchased it about 7 years ago.
And that was both of them? I mean, that his father and son operated it?
They were both actively involved, and I believe Mr. Donner's brother as well was
Okay. And then
was
when
involved.
the father passed away, the son, who people recently to Annapolis, Hillard Donner would know,
yes,
took over, and he ran it until you guys purchased it.
Yeah, his health declined right around the time of the big flooding.
Right, and so 93?
I think it was 2003.
2003,
yeah.
Yes.
So, but the family ran it, yes, for until we purchased it. And Mr. Donner was still a customer after we purchased it, and so it was wonderful when he'd come in and pick up some wine.
Obviously, he believes in what he sold.
Yeah.
Now, you guys are Naval Academy graduates, right?
That's right.
And your husband are the co-owners of here. And are you from Annapolis originally?
I'm not. I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin called Two Rivers, but my husband is from Maryland. He grew up in Prince George's County outside the Beltway. His father was an economist for the government, but we met at the Naval Academy. We didn't date until we were almost out of the military, but his last tour in the military was teaching at the academy. I never thought I would settle in Annapolis, but I kind of followed him here, and then we were married. We were entrepreneurs, basically. We consider ourselves entrepreneurs. My family had a small business in Wisconsin growing up. We started a business with his brother after we got out of the Navy and sold that business. And then we were looking for a new adventure.
And here you are?
Here we are, yes.
Well, this is quite an adventure. Now, do you have a background in wine or beer or spirits, or have you acquired that since you...
I don't, well, beyond mild
did you come here in the academy and, drink underage?
I never did. That's so funny. I think about that, too. The interesting thing when you're a midshipman is you don't really have you have a sponsor's home, but you can't really bring...
Right.
Purchased beer or wine back to the dormitory, obviously. So most of the time, as a midshipman, you would go out for a couple beers at one of the local bars.
Right.
So no, I don't know that I ever went to any liquor store while I was a midshipman, but yeah, it's funny that I never stepped foot in the store until later in life.
I say, well, there's a couple of businesses downtown. I mean, you've got McGarvey's, which is owned by a group of former midshipmen.
Yes.
And you guys as well. I know there was another one up on Main Street that closed down. The Muffin Man was there, and he I know he closed down when they were looking to raise the minimum wage to $10. I think.
Yes, that's right.
He just said that his the business model just wouldn't succeed on that type of a thing. And
sure.
I would say he's also a true entrepreneur because, I mean, he realized that I wasn't going to throw good money after bad, and do it, and he held to his word. And when they passed that, he did close down, and I understand that he got his money back from the franchise and everything else there.
Oh, wow.
Which is really neat. But tell me about Mills and what you guys have done. I mean, as you said, it's morphed. I mean, you used to be able to buy eggs and chickens and stuff like that here, okay? I mean, you don't have any of those running around at this point. But the retail outlets has really changed the retail thing. I mean, back when I was growing up, I mean, it was in Pennsylvania, so we had state stores. But, I mean, you went in and you bought a bottle of booze, and that was it. And that was all it was. It was a transaction. Here's your money. Give me my booze, and I'm out. Retail anymore is so much different anymore. You've got different events that you put on here. You've got private tastings and everything else. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, we do a lot of in-store tastings. We do wine tastings every Saturday all year long from 2 to 6 p.m., beer tastings every Friday from 4 to 7 p.m., no matter what. And then other tastings are sprinkled in there some Sundays, a lot of spirits tastings on Saturdays. But we want our regular customers to know that they can come every Friday evening and there will be a beer tasting, or every Saturday afternoon there's going to be a wine tasting.
Is there a cost on that?
Nope. They're complimentary.
So you come down here and you can learn. Now, do you do...
I mean, it's a great deal. I mean, last Saturday we had a $60 bottle of Pinot Noir open. I mean, where else can you go to taste a $60 bottle of wine for free?
It's so funny. My palate is so, I don't know whether it's distended or whatever. I mean, I swear that I can't tell a difference between a very good bottle of wine and a poor bottle of wine.
Right.
And it's probably because I don't have that much experience with it and know what to look. I know when, you get the people with the beers, they say, oh, you can taste the chocolate in it and you can smell this. And I just don't understand what that is. I mean, that's something that I would personally like to do, is to get the education.
I've learned a lot since we bought the store. One of the things I'm proudest of, actually, is our team, our staff. Like, we're a small group. We're 9 people. 7 of us are college educated. Pat Darr works for us, he's the wine columnist in the paper, and he has an extensive knowledge of wine, and he has an amazing wine cellar, and he's met many of the major winemakers of our day.
Now, was he here back when the Donners?
No, he was not.
Okay.
No, he was not. But he did work. He's a retired executive, and he did work at another retailer before coming here. But we taste wine every Monday, and that's one of our passions. Is every Monday, we meet with different distributors and importers, and we taste sometimes 60 to 70 wines. We're always on the hunt to try find new, exciting things that are good values, and that type of rigor when looking at new wines is, I think, something that we try to offer that's a little unique. There's always going to be something new and interesting here.
How do you pick your stock? Is it based on those Monday morning tastings?
A lot of it's based on Monday morning tastings, but how Mr. Donner had it set up is this is basically a terroir-driven store. So, and that's like kind of a hot button word in the wine industry, admittedly, but we want to have representation from a lot of the major wine areas of the world. And if I have Italy dissected down to all the different important regions, I want everything represented. So it's an interesting collection, in my opinion. And it's always evolving. It's always changing. But, you have to kind of find a balance between, keeping the old favorites and finding something interesting and new.
Sure. I know there was and I'm going to draw a blank on the name, but it will come to me after we're done, and I'll call you in the middle of the night and let you know let you know what it was.
Good.
But there was one bottle of wine that I couldn't find anywhere, and you guys had it.
That's great.
And it was just, you could go anywhere and look for it. And then I think I stopped. I live a little bit closer to somebody out by Bay Ridge, and I was like, no, they don't have it on. I went to the other one, but it was one of those, I just didn't want to come downtown just at that point.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, well, now I'm going downtown, and sure enough, Mills had it.
Yeah.
It was so that was really kind of neat. Now, you can't ship, right? That's the stupid Maryland law that says you can't ship wine, right?
Yeah, we can't go across state line. So, but we do a ton of deliveries. That's actually a huge part of our business. Parking can be a challenge down here. Sometimes people, you just mentioned before, you were thinking of coming here, but, you didn't want to think about coming downtown. And that can be a barrier. It's a challenge for us. So,
well, I think you've got a good spot where you are, just because the meters in front of your store are the 15 or 30-minute meters.
30-minute, yes.
So you're not getting somebody that's theoretically, that's parking out there for a day and just taking up a spot. That's a perfect place for a 30-minute meter, because you can just swing in, you can come in, you can browse. You probably get in and out of here in 30 minutes with ease.
Yeah.
Provided that there's a spot.
Exactly. But, if you don't have time for that, we do a ton of deliveries. And really, one of my shortcomings is I need to get better at marketing, because I don't feel like I'm very good at getting that message out there that people even know that we do the deliveries. But somebody calls me on a Sunday, it's better than Amazon Prime. They call me for a delivery. You live wherever, Eastport or Murray Hill, you will get your package delivered a lot of times within the hour.
And what's the cost on delivery?
There's no charge for delivery. It's just a $50 minimum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
but delivery's free.
That's easy enough. That's, to be able to get $50 and just even if you want a good bottle of wine for $30, then I'll throw in a couple 6-packs of beer. We're going to get rid of that.
Exactly. It's not too hard. But I like to think it's a huge convenience for people that don't want to get in their car or don't have time. It solves a problem.
That's good to know. And your delivery area is generally Annapolis, is that?
It's generally Annapolis, but we do go outside of Annapolis.
Yeah, I was going to say, if somebody wants to buy, 50 cases or something like that, you'll go down to South County with it probably. Or
we don't.
You're just not wine. You're beer too and spirits.
Yes.
But is wine your bread and butter? Is that the
wine
bulk?
is about 60% of our sales, and beer is probably closer to 10. So we're not a huge beer store, but we love beer and we like to have some interesting beers. We're really focusing on a lot of the local breweries, and that's what customers love too. They like to try what is hot now locally, and we like to support local breweries.
Right. Well, they've got the new microbrewer that's opened up in Eastport.
Yes.
Forward Brewing, which should be opening somewhat soon.
Very excited about that. That's so cool.
I know that the Woodwind partnered up with somebody to get their own beer. So it is kind of neat when you've got people down here. And the neat thing is that you guys have a great local base as far as local customers, but you're also the place to go for tourists. So you're sort of sitting in the hot seat down here. You're right at tourist central here, I guess, if you will.
Yes. I like to think we have 3 customers. We have our regulars, our local customers. We have the tourist, and we also have the fine wine collector, that people that want to buy old vintage Bordeaux's and Burgundies. We have some of those wines that people don't necessarily carry that much anymore because they're not that popular among all people. So that's also an important customer for us. But we do find ourselves telling people where the closest bathroom is and how to park downtown quite frequently. Many, many times a day.
Well, and one thing that I do look forward to, and you guys do, and I believe it's semi-annual, but you do the big wine sale.
Yes.
And when are those again?
September and February.
Okay, so when you're really cold in the winter, and when you're pulling your hair out because the kids are just about back to school. Right.
Yep.
And that's a terrific sale. I know there's a lot of people in town that turn around. I don't want to say they save up, but they stock up for sure.
Yes. And not just from in town. People come. We have customers from Virginia, from Pennsylvania that come to that sale. And it's really fun for that reason. Some people you see twice a year at our semi-annual sale.
That's fantastic.
We do a lot of events. So, that's a lot of our business, too.
So this is
weddings.
Catered events, often weddings?
Yes. Which is really fun because you get to meet the family. A lot of times they'll come in, we'll walk around, they'll taste some wine. And then, I get to know these people, and it's fun. You're part of their life. That's what's so much more interesting than our former business, which we were in defense contracting. You don't really know your customer. This business I love because you see them get married, then they have a baby, and, you kind of...
their life's evolving in front of your eyes.
Exactly. It's so cool. We've done funerals, sadly, but, you really get to know the families, and it's wonderful.
I've got to say that the business is probably a happy business.
For the most part, people come in here in a really good mood, and it is for...
Looking to get into a better mood, and that's...
Yes.
figure it out. What's the future look like for you guys? I mean, are you looking to... You said you've got this entrepreneurial bug that you've, went to defense contracting, and then you went into retail. I mean, are you looking to put a mill someplace else? Are you looking to do anything else? Is this happy with where you are and just want to...
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things I want to do to improve the business, but we do not have plans to sell or start another mills. I guess I wouldn't rule those things out permanently, but we plan to run this. We have 3 children. They're in middle school and high school, and so we're going to run this as a business until we no longer can.
Right.
That's our plan.
Right.
But, yeah, I definitely have so much I want to do with, back to the wines. I want to have maps in here of all the different growing areas. And, we like to do fun artistic projects in here, too, like our cork curtains in the window.
Your windows are some of my favorite downtown.
Oh, thank you.
That and Zachary's does some good ones, too, as well during the holidays.
I love Zachary's windows, yeah.
I remember with the corks, that was fairly recently. That was over the summer or the spring.
It's been a couple years.
Has
yeah.
it really? That big, huge?
Yes. We are trying to show what we are without putting a big Bud Light poster in the window.
But you're not a Bud Light place.
Well, we're not, but, we still want to show people, oh, this is what we are. We are a liquor store, and we have to do that in a creative way because we want Historic Annapolis to be happy with us.
Yeah, that's always a good thing.
Yes.
That's always a good thing. They recently had a fire up on Duke of Gloucester Street, and I was jokingly saying, well, this will give the Historic Preservation Commission 5 or 6 years to debate what they do with this.
Right.
It just takes forever sometimes with the way the city moves around. Now, do your kids have any interest in, and I know obviously at middle school and high school probably they're just more concerned about, sports or getting out or whatever. I mean, is there any... is that something that you and your husband would love to do? Pass it down to your children? Or?
We actually have an opposite viewpoint. We think, we really want our kids to find their own way. We want them to create their own accomplishments. And I don't think there's a lot of value in handing something to them that we've kind of nurtured.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I really want them to work and learn the value of that and find their own way and find their own thing.
And put their own mark on whatever. That's you certainly have here at Mills as well. And it's changed up a little bit from what it was. You have modernized a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. We always want to, we really admire Mr. Donner and what he did for the community. Mr. Donner was a wealthy man when he passed.
Right.
And, he lived in a relatively modest home in Murray Hill, and he walked to work every day. If you look at his lifestyle, yet he built a wing at the hospital, and he donated a lot of money to build religious building over at the Naval Academy. I just think that's such a great example of how to live. And it's so opposite of kind of how things are now. I
agree. I agree with you. And I think that one of the key things to the entrepreneurial lifestyle, as far as any business owner on Main Street, wherever that Main Street might be, is that you need to enjoy coming to work. You need to enjoy with what you're doing. Yes, there are tough days. There's probably a lot worse days as a business owner than there are as an employee of, Taco Bell or whatever it is. But generally, you sit there and you see the fruits of your labors. You see the rewards that you get from that. And, there's HR to deal with. There's, insurances and, everything that goes with it. But in the end, you really enjoy. You wake up in the morning and it's like, hey, okay, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah,
and
it's all about the people, So I love seeing everyone, a lot of the regulars. And like I said earlier, I love our team. I love working with the people that work here.
Now, as a business owner, are you here 24/7? I know you're not open 24/7, but are you?
Well, we're only closed 3 days a year, so that's a challenge,
right?
Especially with kids.
And that's Christmas, Thanksgiving, and
New Year's Day.
Okay.
So, yeah, we have a great team. We're not here all the time. Generally, Jerry and I take off different days. Like, for example, he usually takes off Tuesday and Sunday. I take off Thursday and Saturday. So, one of us is usually here. But certainly we do take time to do things with our kids, and we have the team that we can do that.
Right. It's essential to have a team.
Yeah.
I know when I owned my travel agencies, I had a manager that I could go away for 3 weeks or 4 weeks and know that she would make 90 to 95% of the same decisions I would make. Not saying that they were right or wrong, but I mean, it's it's the same one that I would make, and you can't ask for anything better than a good staff to back you up.
Yeah, we have a guy he's actually an archaeologist by trade, and he works here full-time sometimes and part-time when he has a dig.
Oh.
But he's a great, he knows how to manage the store.
What's your most expensive bottle of wine here?
Oh, I think we actually just sold out of it. It was the Clos du Tart. It's a Pinot Noir from Burgundy.
Okay.
And we just sold the last bottle recently.
No.
And that was $599.
Okay.
But I do think we have some white Burgundies that are a little more expensive than that.
Right.
We also have a cognac by Tesseron that is, I think, $1,300. When one of the representatives from Tesseron came in the store to taste us on some cognac, he was shocked that we had the bottle here. And he said they don't even have it at Tesseron anymore.
Ah.
Yes. It's a blend of very, very old cognac.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a cool bottle.
Boone's Farm? Strawberry Hill? No.
No Boone's Farm. But I will say one of the things I'm most proud of at our store is we have 72 wines that are on we call it our $10 rack. And if you're buying by the case, it's $8 a bottle. And there's wines on there I bring home all the time. A great $8 to $10 Cab Pinot Noir.
That's something great for an everyday wine for a dinner. I remember, and I don't know whether they're still made, but there used to be a cheap red wine. It was what it was called. It just had a brown label, like a grocery bag label with a rubber stamp that said like cheap red wine on it.
Oh my gosh.
That's what it was. And they had a cheap white wine too.
Yeah.
And it was, going way back when, I mean, it was probably $7 or $8 a bottle, so it wasn't anything. It was a notch over the wine in a box, which is coming back now.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's,
absolutely.
thing. Hey, here's a question for you, because you said you were more the winey than the liquor or the beer person. Corks, they're sort of going out of vogue, or are the screw tops are no longer like it's a screw top wine?
Yeah, I think even since we bought the store 7 years ago, that has changed a little bit. Yeah, I think people are less against the screw cap. A lot of people prefer it for convenience, especially people that are traveling if they don't have like a corkscrew with them. But there are areas of the world that just don't even use corks anymore, like New Zealand, for example.
Why was the shift from that? Is that just winemaking getting modern?
I believe there's like a cork shortage. So maybe I'm not exactly sure why. There's still a lot of wines with corks. And I kind of like the romance of it, actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
You get the little pop as opposed to...
It's very satisfying.
that and the champagnes or the sparkling
yes.
ones, and off it goes. Well, Jennifer Donohue, thank you very much. Mills Fine Wine and Spirits at the bottom of Main Street. What's the address here?
87.
87 Main Street. You can go online and get you. What's the website? It's
millswine.com.
Millswine.com. You've got beer tastings You can't come to the Monday wine tasting. That's just for you guys to get your act together, right? But so you've got beer tastings every week, and you've got wine tastings every week, and there is no cost for that.
Right.
And delivery, which is fantastic. If you're in the Annapolis area, all you need is $50, and she's going to beat Amazon Prime to your door.
I am. I'm going to race them there.
And if anybody really is looking for a special bottle of wine, and again, I came for the one, and it's here. This is the finest wine selection, I think, probably. I was told in the Northeast when I came down here. I don't know how true that is. I mean, I'm thinking like New York has probably some mega stores or something like that. But certainly in the Mid-Atlantic, and it's not only just a local store that we have here, but it's a destination. I mean, I know that there's tons of boaters that come through town here, and this is a stop when they get off.
Yes.
It's convenient. It's right in the heart of downtown. If you are downtown shopping, I do suggest everybody swing by. Check out what they have. Say hello. if you're in on one of their tasting days, learn a little bit. It is a liquor store. You can't buy chickens and eggs anymore, but
No.
you can. I'm looking at mixers, and they've got wine. Obviously, they've got beer. They've got hard liquor as well, which is probably not the right word. Spirits is the
Yes.
fancy term for it, but and cognac and. Just a great community asset that we have here, and I thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much, John. It was really a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks for listening to this special podcast for Annapolis. Please be sure to visit Annapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinions. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you your local news direct to your phone or tablet every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Subscribe on iTunes or Google Play.